说起基辛格和中国的渊源，可以用这么一串数字来概括：他在40年前掀开了冷战的帷幕，和尼克松总统一起重启了中美外交，并且在此后的40多年中来过中国50多次。今年时值尼克松总统访华40周年，基辛格再一次来到了中国。我的同事水均益昨天专访了这位已经88岁的老人，一起来看一看。
2012年的新春伊始，对于中美关系来说非常具有纪念意义。40年前，1972年2月21号，美国总统尼克松正式访华。2月28号，中美两国发表了中美联合公报。这两个位于东西半球的大国交往之门终于被打开，而一位88岁的老人更是见证了这40年来中美走过的风雨历程。他就是美国前国务卿基辛格。
How are you?
Nice to see you again. Now it's the next round. Okay, it's for me.
Somebody give me a jacket for.
This year is the 40 years anniversary for President Nixon's first visit to China. You're going to attend the celebration. Tell me, how important is this anniversary?
Well, it was a revolutionary change in the international system. Until then, for over 20 years, China and the United States treated each other as almost as enemies. They fought a war, they had some battles in the Taiwan Straits, and everyone in the world expected us to be adversaries. So when China and the United States began to normalize relations and then move from normalization to cooperation, that obliged every other country to reconsider their previous policies. And since then, China and the United States have been engaged in international affairs, usually on parallel lines, for 40 years. And that's a very significant event.
And you're happy to witness the 40 years anniversary. Dr. Kissinger, quite a number of people, especially scholars, and they would say, you know, since U.S. now is a kind of a so-called declining power, and China is a rising power historically, or if you just take any example in history, these two kind of powers will someday meet to a kind of a clash of interest, and then maybe confrontation.
The world conditions are totally different. When this happened in the past, it was thought that international affairs are a zero-sum game, that for one side to gain, the other one has to lose. But today, I don't think that it's true that a conflict between the United States and China, I think both sides would lose. And even a permanent diplomatic struggle between China and the United States would divide the world. Every country would have to choose sides. So I don't think the old rules apply, and I don't see the benefit to either country of a conflict. And this is why the leaders, whenever they came up to it, solved their issues. So I believe the predictions are wrong, or at any rate, we have to act as if we were determined to make them wrong.
My understanding is on one condition, that is we make right choices or right decisions.
It's important, and it's important that both countries make the right decision.
Yeah.
One country can't do it by itself.
2012年新年伊始，美国政府宣布调整军事战略，亚太地区，尤其是西太平洋，将成为美国新的军事战略要点。近年来，美国一直在进行的战略东移，也随着这份新的国防战略日益明朗化，其安全战略的优先任务也由防恐防扩散转向应对崛起大国。基辛格却并不赞同美国决策层所谓遏制中国的战略思维。在2011年出版的《论中国》中，他警告说， 今天，美国决策层仍然认为中国崛起与美国在太平洋地区的位置无法兼容，因此最好先敌视、遏制。如果这种思维方式持续蔓延，那僵局将不可避免，严重时甚至可能导致下一场冷战。
So how do you now read the recent Obama administration's new military strategy report?
He has said we will not reduce forces in Asia. So I don't think it is an increased reliance on military forces. It is a redisposition. I think the Obama strategy will be a subject of domestic discussion, but it does not affect our basic relationship with
Quite a lot of Chinese people are reading this in a kind of a different way because, you know, listening to President Obama speaking from time to time, and also Secretary Hillary Clinton saying, you know, U.S. is returning to Asia, and then the recent report even named China as a potential...
Yeah, but look, you've been in Asia. Yeah. I didn't know we had ever left. When they return to Asia...
Yeah, why return to Asia?
We've been in Asia. So this is a phrase which I would not have put exactly the same. But it doesn't change my basic conviction that the relationship is on a good course.
So you don't take the idea that China should be a kind of a challenge for the United States to counter?
I don't think we should treat China as a challenge militarily, and I don't think China should treat us as a challenge militarily. And we should develop enough confidence in each other so that we do not have to devote excessive amounts of money to an arms race.
2011年下半年，美伊关系骤然紧张。11月8号，国际原子能机构出台伊朗核报告。此后，西方社会对伊朗的喊打声一直不绝于耳。12月24号，伊朗海军在霍尔木兹海峡举行了为期10天、代号为“守卫90”的大规模军事演习，以回应美国和欧盟近日对伊出台的多项制裁措施。一时间，波斯湾上空似乎充满了硝烟的味道。
تنگه هرمز کاملا در اختیار ماست. امنیت تنگه هرمز کاملا در اختیار ماست. کنترل تنگه هرمز کاملا در اختیار ماست.
然而，就在霍尔木兹海峡，在伊朗军演期间，美国约翰斯坦尼斯号航母还曾穿越霍尔木兹海峡进行例行活动。对美国来说，这里是中东战略咽喉；对伊朗政府来说，这里是安全前沿。如今，全世界的目光都集中在这里，所有媒体都在等待一个消息：战火是否一触即发
？Another hot topic nowadays is about the issue of Iran. Especially Iranians are threatening to close off the Hormuz Strait, and then the U.S. is saying that that is a red line, and if you close the Hormuz Strait, and we will take action. Is there any possibility that these two, the U.S. and Iran, is coming to a war?
I don't think Iran will close the Straits of Hormuz. But I support the administration on that issue, because if the Straits of Hormuz are closed and the price of oil shoots up all over the world, it will all over the world create major economic problems, maybe economic recessions. And one country should not be in a position to do that. And I believe that if the Straits of Hormuz are closed, that the United States will find support from other countries to take action to reopen them. But I don't expect it to happen.
Dr. Kissinger, one more last question. That is your take or your understanding of the so-called Arab Spring. And recently the focus now is on Syria. And again, Syria pointing against the West or the United States. tell me some of your evaluation and your perspective about what is happening in the Arab world.
Now, in the Arab Spring, you had, as in many revolutions, the coming together of many resentments and many frustrations, decades long. But what is also true in many revolutions is that when the revolution is over, you have to create a government that has enough authority to deal with the problems. And then it emerges that the merging of resentments doesn't necessarily lead to common constructive policies. Mm-hmm. And in Syria, they haven't reached that point yet.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Nice.
All right.
以上就是今天的环球视线，感谢您的陪伴，再见。